Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back. Good evening. We hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday evening and happy holidays from the Renewal Center. We're glad that you're taking the time to join us tonight. We're going to say welcome to everyone, all of our tea timers. Hope your day went well today. We're going to get started tonight with just welcoming everybody back and just wanting to say that we're closing out the month of November with our National Caregivers Month. And just a reminder from the Renewal Center how much we care for our caregivers and our caretakers. They've just been so selfless in how they serve. And we just want to make sure that we don't forget them and to let them know that we really care about all that they do. We honor you and we support all that you're doing. So you still have time this month to, say thank you to a caregiver and let them know that we are seeing you. And so this is a great time for you to go grab your friends, get your family, grab your tea, get your tea time journal, because we're excited about the renewal practice that we're going to hear tonight. There's so much that we can cover, and we're here for a time of pause, reset, and building resilience. And while you are over there on YouTube, if you know anyone that likes to watch YouTube, we're streaming live over there right now. And while you're over there, like and subscribe to our Tea Time, our YouTube channel. I'm sorry, I got a little tongue-tied today. But welcome again to Tea Time Tuesday this evening, where we're here to talk about pause, resetting, and building resilience. And so we can jumpstart our Tea Time Tuesday, our tea of the week is nutmeg ginger tea. And here it is a cool time of the year. And so nutmeg ginger tea is a great tea. It's a fragrant, the nutmeg comes from a very flavorful and spicy spice, which comes from the seed of the nutmeg tree. And the nutmeg tree originates from Indonesia. And so some good old recipes bring in nutmeg and ginger, and it's good for a cold day. And you can use nutmeg and ginger together with your tea of choice, black or oolong tea. Ground it up, put your sweetener of choice there, or even some nice steamed milk or cream to really bring in a nice hot cup of tea for a cool day. So we're going to get started with that. And while you are taking the time to gather your things, go ahead and put in the chat what you're drinking. What is your tea of choice tonight? Because we're getting ready to go into a time of locating ourselves. So go ahead and put it in the chat, tea timers, like we always do. And so Hope is going to take us into a time of locating ourselves tonight.
Well, right. Good evening, everyone. And just excited to be here with all of you again. Welcome back. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And so we're going to go ahead and enter into our time of locate yourself. This is something we do here in our Tea Time community. If you're new to Tea Time, this is a time where we take a pause to try to just allow ourselves to just be still and allow our thoughts to kind of regulate, and just taking some deep breaths and just being able to locate where we are. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Get ready. Go ahead and just relax your shoulders, relax your fingers, and just allow yourselves to just begin to breathe and just begin to release the cares of the day as we locate ourselves at this moment. All right. Wasn't that great? Just a moment of pause in that moment as we have loosened up, as we are gathered our thoughts, and we're ready now for tea time. Make sure that you have your tea time journals, and get ready as we go ahead and bring Patrick in, who's going to lead us into our tea time this evening. Good evening,
Thank you
Patrick.
so much. Thank you, Hope. Again, welcome everybody to Tea Time Tuesday here from the Renewal Center team. Excited about being here this evening. I'm Patrick J. Brown. I'm here with Hope T. Melton and Carmela E. Head, and we're excited about our tea time and our renewal practices this evening. I know that I'm having peppermint tea, so that's what I have this evening. Monique says she has spiced vanilla chai tea. All right. Anybody else out there? What is your tea of choice this evening? Again, this is tea time, and this is the perfect season for nice hot tea for sure. Renita says she has lemon water. All right. Thank you. Anybody else out there? What's your tea of choice? If you're out there watching this evening, just go ahead and hashtag I am Renewal, hashtag Tea Time Tuesday. Let us know that you're here. Please like and share and tag your friends so we can all connect this evening. I'm excited about this. Let's see what else. Hey, Dr. Paul C. Brown, my dad. How you doing? Water. All right. All right. Folks are home relaxing. You've centered yourself. You've located yourself. And so this evening, I want to build on what we talked about last week. So hopefully you have your tea time journals. And I can't wait for one day that we will really have some tea time journals that'll have our logo and information on it. Coming soon, 2024. So excited about that. Come on, just let us know that you're out there this evening. So what I wanted to start out with, let's first of all recap, because last week our focus was about grow your doing skills. And one of the key things we talked about in growing doing skills was finding the balance of skill to challenge. There's a challenge that you have that will cause your skill set to come up. Challenging yourself so that your skill set can come up. And also we begin to do a renewal practice about being clear about what you need to build and what you want to develop. Being very clear about what you need to build and what you want to develop. And so in order for us to grow our doing skill, we have to be clear about what it is that we want to grow in and build and develop at the foundation. We talked about adapting, adopting, and then we can advance. Sometimes we're going to have to adopt a new approach, a different perspective. All right, holding ourselves accountable. People were talking about time management, parenting skills. Had a lot of engagement last week. So, what else we get? Michelle says she has, let's see here, strawberry lemonade. All right. That tea or strawberry lemonade? Regular strawberry lemonade, I guess. All right. Thank you so much for being on this evening as well. Thank you so much. I am Renewal. If you're out there, hashtag I am Renewal and Tea Time Tuesday. Please tag, please like, and please share this on your page so that we can connect with all of you. All right. So I wanted to recap that because this evening, we're going to concentrate our efforts specifically on the 4-phase process of creativity. A 4-phase process of creativity. Now, this renewal practice this evening is about how to get unstuck so that you can create. All right. Anybody out there in tea time, you're facing a space where you have to create. You have to innovate. You have to think of a different approach. It could be being stuck in something, whether it's conflict, it could be relationship oriented. It could be a project that you're dealing with. It might be a home project or something in your job or your work. Those are all creative concerns. And one of the key things about tea time, it is about pausing, about resetting, and about building resilience. This evening is about resetting, and it's also about building resilience. So we're going to reset our mindsets as it relates to when we're stuck under something as well. All right, Favorite Adamson, it's water. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you so much. Tea Time Tuesday, yes, yes. All right, so I want to dive into this, okay, so that we can really focus on what do we need to do in order for us to, again, 4-phase process of creativity. So get your journals out. We're going to work this. And why are we doing this? Well, as you are closing out your year, this is an excellent time for you to think about rebooting, resetting your creativity when you might be stuck. And sometimes we look at that and says, well, what do you mean stuck? I'm standing still. Things are moving forward. I'm in a situation where I have to make some decisions. And how do I get out of this particular place? And sometimes we may feel like or believe or think that we can't be creative when we're experiencing a circumstance where I am stuck. Well, we're going to get unstuck this evening in our renewal practice. So let me know that you're ready. If you're out there, hashtag again, I am renewal, to let me know that you are ready and we can move forward with our renewal practice for this evening. So the first thing we're going to focus on, and I'll be using the same slide and it will navigate together, is number one, preparation. Preparation. Now, everybody write that down. Preparation. Somebody put it in the chat. Preparation. Preparation. The first phase of getting unstuck, or this 4-phase process of creativity, is preparation. Might be a little small type there, so I'll talk through it. When you're in preparation phase, what you're doing at that moment is you're trying to come up with ways to solve an issue. You're coming up with an idea in preparation phase. Now, what do you do during preparation phase? So I'm going to open the audience this up to all the tea timers. Hope, Carmela, love to hear from you. When you're in preparation phase, when it comes to creativity, what are you doing during that time of preparation? Think about it. I'm stuck in something. I got to create something. I got to come up with a solution. I got to generate an idea. So when you're in preparation phase, what is actually happening during that time?
I was thinking, as you were talking about from last week, I was kind of regrouping in my mind about that. And then you were talking about preparation stage. My mind went straight to process improvement as it pertains to me. Okay. And, an area to sharpen it. And that area can help you become unstuck if you look at things from a process improvement angle and how you can become more efficient. For me, it would be how can I become more efficient? How can I be proactive instead of reactive to a problem, but, be proactive so that problems won't happen. And so for me, I'm just trying to I would look at in this whole thing and preparation is what way can I start setting things in motion so that it could prevent me from being stagnated later. Look at a way that I could be more efficient in what I'm doing. And so that would be my interpretation at the jump start of the preparation stage for me. I'm looking at it through the lens of process improvement.
All right. Thank you for that, Mel. Hope, what about you? Preparation. And again, preparation is that first phase here in this understanding of creativity. We're going somewhere with this because generally when we are stuck or we're walking through a process where I got to bring some ideas forward, we don't start with preparation. We're like, nothing's coming forward. Well, why would we mention preparation? Well, there's some principles and practices underneath this. So thank you for sharing that, Carmela. Hope, any thoughts on this, please?
For me, preparation would be taking time of reflecting on where I currently am right now, where I've currently come from, and where I'm currently looking to go. So it'll be taking times of reflection on my thought process of what's going on, what's before me, what am I dealing with concerning, as you were saying, like feeling of being stuck. Just taking that time to reflect upon it, and before I actually take movement and action into moving to the next steps.
Okay, reflection. Thank you. All right, I want to hear what the audience has to say. We've got a couple of ideas coming in about preparation. This is interesting. Okay, Treva says brainstorming. All right. Monique says I'm assessing where I am currently and where I need to go. How do I get there? All right. Michelle says brainstorm and gather information. Renita, hey, brainstorming ideas and strategies. It's interesting to hear the stream of ideas here about the preparation phase. I want to give you 3 things that you do, what preparation also includes. All right. There's some other things that preparation includes. Now, I want you to think about something right now that you have to create in. Put that on your mind. Something that you must create in right now. Now, I want it to be open, so it's not just job related. Anything that you need to implement, create, improve, expand in, whether it's personal, relational, whatever it might be. I want you to pause and think about that. Okay? You got it, everybody? Mel, you got yours? Hope you got yours. All right. Now, if you got that in your mind, here's what you're going to do. 3 things: researching, prototyping, and tinkering. Now, I want you to, some of us said brainstorming, we said process improvement, we got reflection. I want you to add prototyping, tinkering, and researching, because what this is doing from this lens, researching is going and getting information that you have not received before. This is beyond brainstorming. It's beyond me trying to come up with ideas. It's about leveraging what's already there, what's already out there. Leveraging what is already out there. Why would you want to do that? How is that creative? Because what you're doing now is you're not only analyzing, you're synthesizing now. Mm-hmm. People who are analytical. I'm analytical. Break things down. Well, the next level of thinking from a creative perspective is synthesis of the information. All right. Now, if you remember science, Hope, Mel, fusion or fission? Not a trick question. Which one has more energy? Fission or fusion? Think about it. It's fusion. Fission is breaking the atom down. Fusion is bringing them together. Most of the time, we would think that it would be fission. We're just breaking the atoms out. No, it's actually bringing them together, right? Which creates more power. Well, imagine in your preparation phase if you did more fusion and less fission. Because most of us, let's be honest, come on, tea timers, come on, Mel, come on, you're analyzer, aren't you? Analyzers, you start breaking it down. You break down the information, you break it down, you brainstorm, that's analysis. Gather, you're analyzing, we're analyzing. And so what I want us to concentrate on, looking at the problem you want to solve, or looking at what it is that that you need to get unstuck with. And I want you to consider researching from current information that's already out there. Prototype. You got to come up with a prototype. Yes, you do. Come up with your own prototype and then tinker. Now, when you think of the word tinkering, what do? Michelle says she's an analyzer. Yeah, when we break down. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it around, and instead of analysis, we're going to do synthesis by looking at researching and prototyping and tinkering. This is a different view, but what this is going to do is cause you to see the phases of creativity in your life differently. So when you think about those 3 words, researching and prototyping and tinkering, Hope, what comes to mind? Those 3 words as it relates to preparation. Well, audience, please feel free to share. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Okay. When you were saying about researching, that means that if looking into or with the current information that I have, researching currently what I'm trying to do, look into it to gain or gather information. So when I hear researching, that's what comes to mind, to kind of see, where I'm going. For me, maybe it's a product that I have and I'm trying to research certain things on how to make improvements on it. So I may look into different things, take the information that I have and then add more information to it to be able to produce a better product. So that's what I think about when I hear researching. Yeah, so
that's good. All right, thank you. Mary, got any thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
Well, my mind went to the tinkering part, because I think for me, in a creative process, and I'm making something or producing something, I'm always trying to tweak it. I'm always trying to see how I can fix, you like you were saying, how can you analyze, use what's already there? Well, you don't want to reinvent the wheel, but you can also take the time to try to see how you can tweak things and make them a little better. So that would kind of go back to process improvement. When I saw tinkering, I said, oh, that's kind of like process improvement a little bit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
tweak it.
Absolutely. You're taking around, oh, well, let's go this way. Let's just adjust this way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't spend enough time in tinkering
No.
because we want it now. And if we analyze it to the granular level and we're still not moving.
Yeah.
Well, I broke it down, I analyzed it, but you didn't create anything different. You just analyzed. You just kept breaking it down and analyzing it until it doesn't move. Now, folks, this can help you in business, relationships, synergy, connecting. This helps you with what it is that you're working on. There are times I do get stuck. It's like, okay, I can't. All right, let me step back here, prepare. Okay, I need to research. I need to get new information. Look at what's out there. I need to tinker with it. I need to come with a prototype and then another prototype. Why am I doing it? Because I'm testing it. I'm looking at how perhaps this might work or may not work. All right. So when you're working on a process of creativity, preparation is key because what that does for us is it helps you come up with different approaches to ideas. So researching, prototyping, and tinkering. Let's get this down, everybody. Write this down. All right. Researching, prototyping, and tinkering. These are the things that you want to do. Whatever it is that you're trying to create, revise, refresh, revisit, whatever it is, maximize. You looked at what you were doing, and so now you want to do something different before you even start. Before you even start off with what you're going to launch in, and some of you might be launching something new, a new product, a new line of business, a new book, a new initiative, whatever it might be. Researching is important because looking at what's already out there, prototyping it, and going back and tinkering your prototype. Tinker the prototype. There are a lot of different products that never made out of the R&D or research and development department. They just kept tinkering around with them. All right. When he says researching is a great way to explore different ways of doing things and experimenting with the different ideas helps to determine what works for you. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's go to the next phase. Number 2, incubation. Incubation. What? Incubation is part of a process of creativity? Yes. I put it in a little word there, percolation. Now, incubation or percolation. Now, I want you, especially that's tea folks. All right, what happens, Mel? Go ahead. I see you smiling there. What happens to percolation?
Oh, it's a steeping time. That's when you let it sit. When you're talking about tea, I'm not the coffee buff, but the tea person says go let it steep, let it sit.
Right. And you know what else happens during percolation? Specifically, when you have the tea pot and the water is boiling, it begins to whistle, right? There's that percolation. You know the water's ready. Now what's happening is in percolation is that you've exhausted your options. So now it's like you set it aside. You've already poured the water into the cup. You set it aside. Think about the cup or the tea being you and the creative process of that water being poured into it. You set it aside so that you can say, I'm intentionally not working on this. I'm intentionally stepping away. So incubation period is a stepping away. I processed what I'm experiencing right now from a creative perspective. And so now I'm going to step away for a bit. So I'm taking a break from preparation. That's incubation. I've done the research. I've done the prototyping. I've done the tinkering. So now, Hope, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away. Mel, I'm going to step away. I'm going to step away from where I am, and I'm going to let this percolate a little bit. So what do you need to percolate? What do you need to do in your creative process to incubate? Or are you so quick, tea timers, just to make it happen? I got to get it done. I got to make it happen. Or are you stuck in preparation possibly? You keep researching, more prototype, more tinkering. Maybe it's time, you might be in that creative process where you need to step away and let things just percolate. All right, T-timers, is this helping you? Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. Are you processing this? Are you thinking through this? Is this helpful as a renewal practice? This is a little different than what we normally would do, but I wanted to approach this because last week we were talking about grow in our doing. This week is, again, we're growing in the area of a creative process, and this is giving us a different approach. If you got to confront a situation, even in a friendship, a challenge that you're having, okay, instead of me just reacting or responding, let me research. Let me build a prototype of how I'm going to even have a conversation. I'm going to build a prototype of how I'm going to approach this. I'm going to tinker with the words that I say and the tune and the tone. You mean you got to do all that? Just say what you got to say. There's a place for that, but there's also a place for developing a new skill, a new approach in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that's the focus of this evening. Is the first one is preparation. The second one is incubation, which is stepping aside for a bit and I'm not working on it. I'm going to pause. Hope, Carmela, Tea Time audience, what are your thoughts about the incubation phase? All right, Nichelle says this. Will you read that for us, Hope? Go ahead.
Sure. Good stuff. I'm gonna let it marinate.
Let it marinate. Yes. So what are your thoughts on this second phase here, Hope, about incubation and percolation?
Well, the percolation part, as we were saying, what Carmela was saying about the steeping, kind of like just waiting. And the incubation is really good because, just the point of being able to step away. The thing about incubation is that even though I'm stepping away, the idea still remains safe, like just still in a safe place of even though I'm stepping away from the idea, if that makes sense, because it's incubated. That's what it means to be kind of like protected. So even in that time of stepping away and kind of, looking and see what I need to do, then go back, I think that's very important. I think it's very important also to embrace the process, not to rush the process of, moving in creativity, because then we miss certain steps, we oversee certain things that we could have saw before. We don't take that time to just let it seep with the, for me, just letting it, I need to let it seep for a little while, like the tea, just let it sit there so I can get the best effect from it for me. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we are in a fast-paced, white water rage, just got to keep moving. You got to keep moving forward. We don't, at times, incubate anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't make my tea using a microwave. Sometimes I just want to just pour the tea, just let it, set it as me. Everything got to be nuked. Everything has to be microwave. Step away for a little bit. Let the tea simmer. Thank goodness. And we do that with our ideas. We want to just. And so incubation is the stepping away. Incubation is that part. Carmela, you got any thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. I like the incubation stage. My mind was going to think about the things that I'm creating or I've done. And I've come to find out when I step away, it gives me time to come back. It could be a week later or even, a couple weeks later. And I'm looking at this thing with fresh eyes again. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could design this or add this to it. But had I just, if I picked it up and kept rolling with it, then I Hope was saying, I was thinking similar things. You might miss something that you could have added to it. Some kind of an addition that you could have put with it. So I like the fact that we're gonna just, like Nichelle said, let it marinate. Just kind of wait, and come back with something fresh.
Yes. Let's see some of these comments, and I'm going to address something that you said about freshness. I like that, Mel. Would you share? Let's see what Renita's saying. Go ahead, if you can read this.
Renita saying incubation makes me think about leaving wait time and room to process and reflect. That's good. I agree.
Monique says the incubation phase provides an opportunity for your prototype to develop and for reflection, things grow during incubation.
That's good.
So, folks, we're moving from preparation to incubation, and you know how quick we can be, how fast we want it to happen. I'm experiencing that as I'm writing my dissertation. It's like I'm not getting enough done. All this pressure. Stop for a moment and incubate. Okay. Do y'all have a watch on by chance, Hope or Mel? Do you have a watch on?
No,
Not
I
today.
don't have it on now.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna do a little. You got any beads on or any
I have beads.
bracelets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Take the bracelet and put it on the other wrist while we're talking. Let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna take my watch off and I'm gonna put it on the other hand. And so if you're out there, audience, go ahead and do that. If you have a watch, put it on the other hand. If you have a bracelet or something, some beads, put it on the other hand that you normally don't wear it on. So, and let's just, okay, so we're going to leave that on for the rest of tea time for right now. Now, do you feel a little different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little incubation. You had to do something different. It's a different sensation if you're so used to wearing it on one area. What does that mean? That means there are times we take a different approach. All right. Here's another comment. Dr. Paul Brown, growth and development occurs during the incubation phase. It is vital for development. Dad, I know you know about incubation because of your background in medical laboratory science and technology. Showed me some incubation growing up, putting the swab on the hand and showing us how many germs we got. You don't know what's there until you incubate it.
Yeah.
You create a culture. That's what I remember him telling us. And so as a result of that culture, you only can grow that culture in incubation. Okay. Right? Sometimes that happens also with our ideas when we're trying to get ideas to come out. All right. This is a different creative process. Preparation, incubation. Let's go to the third phase. All right. Our third phase is ready. Illumination. This is the aha moment. Or this is when the solution suddenly appears. It suddenly appears. It's like you were preparing, you were incubating, now you're illuminating. Illumination is the aha suddenly moment. Yep. And why does that happen like that? Because you were preparing, you've done research, you've done prototyping, you've done tinkering. Think about this business, folks. We're trying to solve a problem. You're trying to generate and expand your brand. You're trying to improve a process. You're trying to validate a process. You're trying to implement a new way of working or a new way of thinking. Well, I'm preparing. There are times you're going to have to take a break and incubate. But then now, because you've incubated and you've taken time away, here comes illumination. You have an aha moment. It suddenly comes forward and it appears. You ever had that happen, Mel Hope? You ever where just you stepped away and you write stuff down, you're thinking it through, and then what happens? The floodgates of creativity are now open. So it's important, and I want us to look at it as phases. Now, this is not about order as much as it is about a different phase of how we create. All right? So this is important. Here's a couple of comments that are coming in. Hope you want to read this by Renita.
Sure. You don't know what's there until you incubate it. That's good.
Yes. I learned that from Dad. Had scarred me for life. Had me taking this stuff and putting it in the lab. And that's why you should wash your hands. You don't know what you know. That's right. Incubating causes you to do it, and then illumination. Okay, here's another one. Michelle says, love the illumination phase most of all. It's like a light turned on and I can see it clearly. Thank you for sharing. All right. Now give me Kim's. Kimberly say it.
Yes, illumination is the aha moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. The solution suddenly appears. Why? Because you stepped away.
Yeah.
Okay. You step back. That's right, Renita. Don't touch those ice cubes with your bare hands. I know that's right. Put your hands on my ice cube. Come on now. But yeah, so illumination is aha. Let me get to the last point, and then I've got a couple, just three things I want to cover that cause you to really think. And I want you to implement this because this is you got 4 weeks to the end of this year, and I want you to really think through these 4 phases. The fourth one is verification. Check and see if it really solves the problem. Does it really work? Or do you think it works? Verification is checking for insight, if the insight actually works. So preparation, incubation, illumination, and then I'm going to verify. There's verification. All right. You ever been someplace and you might be out of town? We were getting gas and we were on our way, and something happened with my bank card. It was like the bank was like, sent me a message, email and text. Are you using your card in this place? It was verification. Yes or no. Now, if I had pressed yes, or if I said no, they would have immediately stopped my card and mailed me one in a day. I said, yes, that was me. All right. And then it was fine. I was able to use my card for the rest of the trip. Here's my point about verification. You ever bought something with your card? He said, would you like your receipt? Well, yes. I want to verify things are right.
Yeah.
So you go back and you verify it and make sure that things are accurate. That's what you do when it comes to creativity. Verification says, I'm going to check and see if this insight actually works. So take time to verify your ideas. Is that fair? As part of the creative process of verification. All right. All right. So far, tea timers, what are your takeaways? What are some of the things that you're thinking through right now that perhaps benefiting you from our tea time renewal practices for this evening on the creative process of these phases of creativity? While you're doing that, I just want to remind you that part of Renewal Center's vision is also creating. We have an art and voice room. And so when you come to the Renewal Center, you can recline in our front art and voice room to ignite your creative ingenuity. The word ingenuity means inner genius, your ability to generate. That is part of who we are. That's a nice picture of our room right there. So if you are ever in the Concord, North Carolina area, please come by and visit us at 159 Church Street Northeast. One of our aspects of our vision is creativity. We also have an action room where you start putting your ideas to work. Engage through conversations in a creative space. So that's what the Renewal Center is also about. We have other aspects of our vision, but I wanted to highlight these two, creativity and activation. You know what else we have? We also have another room called our thought room. And we talked about reflection this evening. It's interesting. These are in the tenets of the Renewal Center. We go and think and you read and you enter into contemplation. Those aspects of our vision are part of a creative process. And while you do it, have a little tea. How about that? Little hospitality, little welcome, just to kind of see it's all built in. And I share that because today, for those of you that are catching us for the first time, excuse me, and for those of you that are regular renewers and tea timers, this is National Giving Tuesday. And so I want you to think about this as we are continuing our renewal practices this evening about supporting the Renewal Center with what we're doing here at Tea Time, the creative space that we have here. Also concerning what we do, we help people navigate grief with our grief navigation, grief recovery, renewal services that we have. So I want you to think about supporting our vision, especially if Tea Time has been a strength to you, it's added value to you. We want you to consider giving a donation to the Renewal Center. We are a nonprofit organization. So it's possibly as part of your Giving Tuesday recognition. If you go to our Facebook page, if you go to our Instagram page, share it. Feel free to share it on your page and say, hey, the Renewal Center is an excellent organization. Here's what part of the vision of what they do. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go to our website. I would encourage you to also download our mobile app as well. So Feel free to download the mobile app. You can catch our audio content, our video content, our digital content. Turn the notifications on. We have a blog team. Matter of fact, we had a blog that came out today by Carmela Head. And so again, just want to encourage you, if this is something that that you're benefiting from as part of National Giving Tuesday, you can scan it. If you have another phone right now, you can scan that device. All right, the QR code there. Or of course, here are different ways that you can support the Renewal Center. So I'll just let it stream at the bottom as we're having the rest of our renewal practices for this evening. All right, let's see what's coming in here. So Nichelle has something. Hope you want to go ahead and read Michelle's.
Nichelle says, sure. And Nichelle said, this is great. I'm going to focus on not putting too much time into analyzing because I find myself stuck there more often than I'd like to admit.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, Nichelle, with us. When it comes to analysis, sometimes we can analyze something and we're not moving. So I'm glad that that's helpful for you as well. All right. Let me share a few more. I've got 3 more I want to share with you this evening in our renewal practices. We've got a few more minutes. So before we wrap up for our time together. And this next one is going to be something I did a little research. I was reading a book about Wired to Create. And so in this book, it talked about creative cognition. And I wanted to share a little bit about that. And it's from the book Wired to Create. That's the resource there at the bottom if you want to go get it. It's a good book. And again, what are we doing? We're actually right now we're researching. Just in the conversation, we're researching. And one of the things that Kaufman writes in this book is that our brain, in neuropsychology and neuroscience, we have different networks in the creative mind. And I want you to think about this as part of your understanding of the creative process, all right? Let me give you time to take a look at that. They all work in tandem. So there's an executive attention network, there's an imagination network, and then there's a salience network. And I want you to think about this as it relates to what's involved with creative cognition. Executive attention network, imagination network, and a salience network, which is how our brains are connected. And I'll bring that back up again for those of you that are writing this in your journal. Now, think about this. The executive network is when you're concentrating and you have focused attention. So we just did 4 for the creative process, but in creative cognition, you're concentrating and you're focusing. And what you're doing during that time is you figure it out through focused attention. Actually, that's in the prefrontal cortex. Actually, is where that's located. But again, I'm gonna bring this up again. So think about the executive attention network, which is part of your parietal lobe as well, and that's where you focus and concentrate. That can happen through prayer. That can happen through meditation. That can happen through what we just did at the beginning, our locate yourself exercise, where you center yourself. And we just sat there. And we took a deep breath and we centered ourselves. And we focused and we concentrate. And so part of that is getting to the practice of using your executive attention network. Concentration, focused. You got to figure something out. So I'm going to pause. You think through this. See what that does to you. You're locating yourself, which means what are you giving your attention to? And again, whatever you give your attention to is where your energy is going to follow.
Yeah.
It can either drain you or help you dream. Either way, we got to be mindful of that. Okay? So again, here it is, the executive attention network. Some of you need to concentrate. If we're all over the place, we need you to sit down somewhere. You're doing too much. Focus, attention, and concentration. All right. Thoughts on that, Carmela? Thoughts on that, Hope? Any comments or anything you want to share?
I like it. It kind of works in tandem with the percolation phase of what you were talking about. Letting it marinate, just relax, just kind of step aside. And then, maybe that's the time to gather yourself. Maybe that is the time to kind of recollect. And that might be the time that as you're recollecting, you might actually gain some kind of insight and an idea. So I like that, time to just focus on just being centered and getting away from all of what you're trying to create. It's like a revolving door. You're creating while you're not doing anything. You're percolating. You're not busy. You're not busy. So I think this is good.
I like what you just said. You're creating while you're not doing anything. Isn't that interesting? Kind of sounds oxymoronic, but yet it's not.
It does. It does.
Because we're so used to doing, right? Or whatever we think it is. And that's why it's important, that last phase of verification. I mean, you may think it's working because you created it, but is it working for the problem that you're trying to solve or where you're trying to get unstuck? Hope you have any thoughts on this with that first phase here, or this network of the executive attention network and focused attention and concentration. What thoughts do you have on that?
Well, that was really good what Carmela had just stated, because it takes the time. And as we know, our tea time is focused on first pause. It says pause. And then it says pause, reset. And so the point, just about pausing and taking that time to pause and being centered gives us the opportunity to kind of like relax, getting the rush, have to move to the next thing, and being able to see exactly and understand what is right in front of us. That sometimes that we can miss when we don't pause. Pause is also needed for that reset as well. So what you're sharing is really, really good. And for me, it makes me heighten in and look at the pausing part and interaction with that as well. How important it is to pause and center, and so that we can be able to really grasp what's taking place and what's going on.
Thank you for sharing it. Can you read this as well? Kimberly chimed in on the same topic.
That's good.
Centering really helps when you're overwhelmed. Absolutely. Yes, it does. All right, let's go to the next one. Got two more, okay? We finished here. Second one is the imagination network. Now, this is when this part of the research is about you're looking at alternative perspectives or outcomes. Alternative perspectives or outcomes. Now, this is interesting. That means you have to consider other ideas, consider other perspectives, consider other insights and outcomes. You're musing about the present and daydreaming about the future. So that means, let me break this down a little further. Mel Hope, we are doing what is and what if interchangeably. I'm in what is and I'm in what if, and I synthesize them or fuse them. So in other words, what is going on? I'm musing about the present. This is what's taking place, okay? But then I'm going to go into what if. So I'm navigating between future and present consistently while I'm drawing from what I've learned. So I'm looking at what was, so that I can learn foundation and continue to build. I'm looking at what is, because I'm musing about the present. And I'm looking at what if. I'm daydreaming about the future. That, T-timers, is the imagination network, which this involves what they call your prefrontal cortex and your temporal lobe. That's where that takes place. It's part of it's the way that you're created and wired as a human being.
Wow.
It's already inside of your design. Why not use it? Why not activate that? All right. You're living in what was, which I'm learning from decisions and patterns and cycles, because we need to do that. Because my decisions, here's that quote, we make our choices and our choices make us. So that's why we look at that. But then we also look at what is and what if, which is the imagination network. And I think we need to percolate over that. Mm-hmm. Really, really sit with it, as we say here, and center ourselves on that. So I want you to think about, we started out talking about the problem that you're facing, or what you're trying to get unstuck in, or what you want to create and generate. And we're working through renewal practices to help you revise, sharpen, refine, polish, sharpen the saw, as it were, to be able to help you enhance the phases of your creativity and your creations. Not only just saying I'm creative, prove it, show it. Here's how you do it. Here are the phases here in order for us to be able to get there. Okay? So there's some interesting points coming in. Nichelle says, what is and what if simultaneously? Yes, concurrently, synthesizing it, synergistically. Kimberly says, interesting concept. Thank you. So these are just things that I'm coming again from what I'm learned and what I've read and applying it. So I'll definitely give credit to where credit is due here, from the research of Wired to Create, unraveling the mysteries of the creative mind. I'm like, wow, we're doing research. We're doing that first phase earlier where we talked about preparation. That's what we're doing right now during tea time, because some of you are going to come away with some incredible perspective as a result of using your creative mind. Third point is your salience network. This is when you monitor external events and the internal stream of consciousness. Now, you say, well, Patrick, what does that mean? Here's how this works, Mel. This is how this works, Hope. I'm looking at what's happening around me. Here's an external event. Here's what I'm facing. Here's what I'm dealing with. And I'm looking at it and monitoring it. And then I'm looking at my own internal stream of consciousness, ideas, concepts. Then I go back to the external and I'm looking at it and I'm observing it. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking those and bringing them together. And then I'm sending them to my imagination network, or I'm sending them to my other network. I'm sending them to the imagination network. I'm sending them to the executive network while I'm looking at external and internal. And then I deliberately send it to my imagination network. I deliberately send it to my executive attention network. Okay, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to give attention to this deliberately and intentionally. Oh, I'm going to dream about this. I'm going to muse about it. I'm going to look at what is and I'm what if, because what I do in the salience network is I'm looking at external and I'm looking at internal, and then I'm sending that to the other networks. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's a different process. I read that. I said, oh, this is good right here.
I love it.
So I want to get your thoughts on that. Hope, Carmela, just any thoughts on that? I'll bring it back up. And I thought this was a very interesting visual, just using a concentric circle, but looking at the salience network and monitoring your external and your internal. So I'm going to pause here. I want to hear from the audience. I want to hear from you as we wrap up our tea time renewal practices for this evening. We're still meditating over here. You're still thinking?
I was just sitting here thinking that this is, I can really appreciate the fact that you're sharing this, the network of creative cognition, because as you were talking about this, especially the last point, we are always doing this. We just didn't know how to put a name to it. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this. And I like this because now we can really focus into the different aspects of these 3 different areas and how we can sharpen ourselves and how we can actually use this to be more, well, you say how to become more creative. But I like this because I'm saying we've been doing this. And the reason I said is like the last point you were saying about looking at external events and the internal things that we're dealing with. I like that because it helps us. For instance, if you're promoting something or you're designing something, well, you can start looking at, well, where can I take this? What avenue or what location am I going to, or how am I going to launch this? So we've been doing this all along, but just did not know, didn't know this practice, how to leverage this. And so this is really good. Thank you. I know I'm kind of going a little.
No, you're good. And we're doing it with intentionality. No, you're fine. Yeah. We're doing it with intentionality now. We're looking at it and saying, some of these things I've been doing, some of them but now I have more awareness. I have more intentionality about the phases. Because some people analyze and they don't prepare. Some people don't incubate. Some of us don't illuminate. We don't go through verification. And then, of course, these three networks here, and being deliberate about it with whatever it is that you want to get unstuck with or what you want to create with. I hope I want to hear from you, and then we'll close out. Any thoughts?
Sure. Well, this has been a phenomenal tea time. I just want to say that, and it's brought so much awareness to how we can move forward in creativity in a broader aspect or capacity. So just being able, you use the word intention, and then there's an awareness. So this has definitely brought an awareness. Even as Carmela said, we've been doing this, but sometimes you need an awareness of what's taking place. And so this has brought the awareness that will forge forth change, that we can embrace these particular renewal center practices that you shared this evening to help us to move forward and forge forth in creativity in a different way, in a different perspective, with intention and awareness. And so this is definitely, I know for me, brought opening my perspectives and allowed my adjusting my focus and seeing even my creativity in a more broader aspect and what I need to do if I'm in a process of just needing to be just sitting, just, as far as like that steeping, as far as just that time of pausing to the point where I need to know when it's time to implement. So it's about like where I am, where I've been, where I am, and where I'm planning to go. And all these particular things that you shared tonight is instrumental in us understanding where we are now and where we plan to go in our creativity in whatever we're doing, whatever we're embracing. So this has been really good.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that perspective, both of you. Folks, what are your takeaways from today? Got a couple of comments that are coming in, so I hope you want to take Monique's comment.
Sure. It says tonight's renewal practices are providing a method of creating, exploring, imagining, and implementing simultaneously.
All right. Thank you so much. Mel, if you could take care of these.
Sure. Understanding what is, and what can be builds creative flow and builds momentum.
All right. Thank you for that takeaway. Here's another one. I like verification because it reveals whether I am on the right track, resulting in the saving time, resources, etc. So again, folks, what are your takeaways from today's renewal practices? I know we're a little bit over time, so I kind of kept expanding a little bit more, but I want to bring it up one more time. Again, the 4-phase process of creativity: preparation, incubation, illumination, verification, and then also some research that I wanted to just reiterate here for today. And again, from Wired to Create by Kaufman, these different networks. Can't remember the page that it was on, but it was just a very interesting concept that I thought was relevant to what we do here at the Renewal Center as it relates to pausing, resetting, and increasing resilience. So again, I want to thank everybody for connecting with us. I just want to again remind you that again, we do focus here at the Renewal Center on creating. That is important to us, creating. And that's one of the tenets of who we are and what we do here. And so we want to give you an opportunity to connect with us, but also to support us. And as I shared earlier, this is National Giving Tuesday. So I'd like you to take the time, if you will. Here are the different ways you can support the Renewal Center. If you'd like to donate through our website, you can go to therenewalcenters.com/give. You also can do a text option to the number 888-364-4483. And if you text Renewal Center, that's a secure way of actually donating and giving. Or you can do PayPal and Zelle, which is the Renewal Center 2020 at Gmail. We have CashApp, which is Cash Renewal Center, and Venmo at Renewal Center. And we are still in the middle of our giving initiative. And so, as it is National Giving Tuesday, please support us, think about us, connect with us. If Tea Time has been a strength to you, has been an add-on to you, has been valuable to you, we want to encourage you to be a part of that. And so we'll just let this stream there at the bottom as you are downloading that mobile app as well and connecting with us, all right? So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to bring up a couple of announcements so that you can just look at that before we close for this evening. Want to also let you know here at the Renewal Center, we do have our Sunday New You fellowship. So this weekend, if you have time, we'll be here on site at the Renewal Center. Looking forward to being with you. Part of our ministry also, you can support that by coming out. We're having communion this coming Sunday. So we're looking forward to you being here. Also, it will be hybrid, so we'll actually have it online. So please feel free to prepare yourself to commune with us. And again, that is this coming Sunday for the new you. So just want to encourage you to prepare yourself for that. Also, tomorrow we have our Reforming Culture prayer tomorrow. So if you, again, you can register with this if you go to all of our sites. That is tomorrow at 7:30. On our fifth Wednesdays, we have a time of prayer. We want to encourage you, for those of you that are reformers that come out on Wednesdays, please come out and connect with us tomorrow at 7:30. So I want to encourage you concerning those two initiatives, Reforming Culture Prayer tomorrow at 7:30. If you want to find out all the Zoom, download the mobile app, go to all of our social media sites, and you can register for that. Looking forward to you being a part of that. And then also this coming Sunday for our New You Digital Discipleship as well. And lastly, just wanted to share two more things. One would be, Carmela, if you can maybe share a little bit about what's happening this coming Saturday for the ladies.
Yes, actually, the Women at the Well Bible Study Series, we are moving into our hybrid time. This will be our fourth time meeting, and then we'll be meeting this particular Saturday, December the 2nd at the Renewal Center. It'll be hybrid. So if you still can't make it in person, you can still log in on Zoom. We are studying Cynthia Hill's book, Becoming a Woman of Purpose. And we've just been having such a good time together. This is a soft space for ladies to come to dive into biblical studies and then also to engage in fellowship. And so you can find out more information. And if you would like to join the Bible study, go to our different media outlets so that you can find out how to register for your Zoom link. Come on in and join us this Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And then Hope, I'd like you to share with us what's going on with what's coming up with Hope Diamonds Ministries. And you can share a little bit with us about the upcoming Prophetic Foundations course.
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. We have wanted to get your year started off right. We're going to be having our Prophetic Foundations Building and Understanding classes that will be held on Mondays. And they will start at 8 p.m. to 9:30 with my guest facilitator, Patrick, who will be guest facilitating as well. This is a great class to enhance the prophetic understanding of living a prophetic life according to the biblical principles that God has for us. So if you're interested, you can go to my page and you can register for this. The registration is still open. This is all fresh new content. Each class has fresh new content. So I'm looking forward to you registering in the Prophetic Foundation classes.
All right. Thank you so much for these announcements. Before we leave, we're just going to do a brief locate yourself exercise, and we will see you next Tuesday at 12 noon for our next tea time. So thanks everybody for being a part. Thank you for supporting the Renewal Center, and we look forward to connecting with you again. So let's just connect here at our, let's do a last, just locate yourself. Thank you so much for connecting with us, and have a good evening.